So I'm currently incredibly bored as I'm patiently waiting for Konami to release some more content to make some more videos on, and there's only so much League of Legends I can play to pass the time before I decide to commit the opposite of living. So I've decided let's just go check out some of the latest leaks we've gotten for Duel Links, as they are very substantial stuff. Okay, get off my screen real quick. And by the way, if you've noticed, there's going to be like no editing on this as I cannot be asked. So, we've gotten a shit ton of leaks. And by the way, if you guys do enjoy this kind of content, we'll see more videos from me in the future, more whatever's from me and content and stuff from me in the future, feel free to check out my channel, feel free to subscribe. I'm very, very close to 100k now, so I'd really appreciate all the subs. And yeah, let's get into this content. Alright, so first of all, we'll check out the stuff that's probably not going to be all that interesting to a lot of you guys. We'll check out the 2 Rush skills first, but don't worry, this isn't going to be a Rush Duel video. There's plenty of content coming up, like Galaxy Eyes and Dark Magician, all that kind of crap. So we'll talk about that stuff in a bit, but first, we'll get the Rush Duel stuff out of the way first. So there's 2 new Rush Duel skills that are coming, and they are very confusing skills to be added right now, considering we're not going to be getting a Rush box next, we're getting a Speed box next, so I'm not really sure what to make of these skills, or if they're even possible they're going to be coming, because they're some pretty insane skills. Basically, both of them are going to make maximum summoning, which is the new sort of Rush mechanic we're going to be getting very shortly, very, very easy, like extremely easy, more easy than I thought they would do. So can only be used once per turn if you have 6 or more monsters in your graveyard. Add a Supreme Machine Magnum Overlord, a Supreme Machine Magnum Overlord, and a Supreme Machine Overlord, these are the right and left and the center one, from outside of your deck to your hand. So just instantly, if you've got 6 monsters in your graveyard, you add all 3 pieces of the maximum summon to your hand, which I find is like, this has got to be an event skill, right? There's no way they just give you a maximum summon just right off the bat like that. That's just gonna be like way better than like all the other Rush decks currently in the game, surely. So what these cards do, as they are a maximum summon, is they're pretty insane. If you get all 3 pieces, you put them all on the field, and yeah, they're just absolutely insane. So you can maximum summon this card together with Supreme Machine Magnum Overlord and Machine, blah, 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 the right one. This card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's trap effects. Obviously, it's immune to Widespread Ruin. And it has 3,500 attack. Alright, then we have this card. This card gains attack equal to the level of 1 face-up monster opponent's field times 200 to the end of the turn. This one is gains attack equal to the difference, blah blah blah, until the end of this turn. So, honestly, just a pretty big standard boss monster that can't be destroyed by Widespread is pretty goddamn insane. Considering it's just given to you for free, there's no, like, discarding from your hand or returning cards from hand back into the decks. You have all 5 cards in your hand, and then you just have all these as well. I'm assuming this is some sort of event skill. There's no way this is the actual skill we're getting. Then we have the other skill for Nail this time. Alright, no requirement. At the beginning of the duel, play 1 YGG Drago, however you pronounce this thing, the Sky Emperor, in maximum mode from outside of your deck to the field. So this one's even easier than this one. It doesn't give you the cards, it just places it on the field. It cannot be tutored for the rest of the duel. It just places the maximum summon straight on the field, which is... like, these have got to be event skills. I know I've been asking for sort of changes in Rush Duel with some sort of like new content so people aren't just playing Dragius spam as like the only deck anyone ever cares about. But I'm sure these aren't going to be the ways we're introduced to maximum stuff. I assume these are going to be event skills or something. Alright, so this dragon, you can maximum summon it with the 2 dudes by its side. Alright, this card cannot be destroyed by your opponent's trap effects, 4,000 attack, and the 2 side pieces, change 1 defense position monster your opponent's field to face up attack position, obviously leading to some fat lethal damage. And we have destroy 1 face up, level 8 or lower monster in your opponent's field. This one is a little bit stronger than this one, quite a lot stronger actually, so... yeah, I assume we're not going to be getting this as just given to us for free. I assume it's going to be some event card. But anyway, let's move on to the actual Speed Duel skills, which is what most of you are here for. Alright, so there are some really insane skills in here, because spoiler alert, I've read through most of these already, or at least checked them out briefly. Alright, so at the beginning of the duel, add something to your extra deck, most likely going to be the number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. 2 level 8 monsters. Once per battle phase, at the start of the battle phase, you can attach one material from this card. All face-up monsters currently on the field have their effects negated. Also, their attack and defense become their original attack and defense. And if you do any of these during the battle phase this turn, each time an opponent card resolves, this card gains 1,000 attack until the end of the battle phase. Also, can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. So, this card, its actual effect, probably not going to be all that relevant, I'm going to be honest. The negate effect can be a little bit more useful in current format, just randomly, because there's a lot of times where there's just, especially on the ladder, where someone's playing like I don't know, the annoying, like, untargetable, indestructible things like the Lunalight boss monster or Cosmo or something, or even just my Akashi having their Link monster on the field that can reduce attack, and having a battle phase just negate everything can feel pretty good, but at the end of the day, it's not exactly it is a battle phase effect, so it's not all that relevant. So hoping the skills are going to make the actual card feel usable. So this first skill, the following effect can be used if your life points are 2,000 or below. Return one card from your hand to your deck, add one rank up to your hand from outside of your deck, and we've seen this card before, and yeah, we're pretty sure we've even got it in the game currently. Yeah, it's in the game. It's only going to be used once per duel. So this skill, probably not going to be the skill you're going for, because spoiler alert, there are some much better skills coming up. Alright, second skill. Can be used if you control a number 107 Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon, or a number 107 C107 Neo Galaxy Eyes Tachyon Dragon. So, we're probably getting this card as well, if you guys didn't get the memo. 3 level 9 monsters, or probably going to be ranking up via other things. Once per turn, you can attaching one Exceed material from this card. At the end of this turn, negate the effects of all other face-up cards currently on the field. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects on the field. If this card has a number 107 blah blah as material, it gains this effects. You contribute 2 monsters. This card can make up to 3 attacks on monsters during each battle phase this turn. Alright, so a pretty insane card if you can get it out, considering it's 4,500 attack and 3 attacks. So 3 attacks, this thing is going to be killing your opponent. And once you've used this effect, it does make it really hard for your opponents to be able to play the game. But it does actually have to resolve its effect. It's not a quick effect, so if you try to summon this thing out, your opponent could just flip it face down, or just Book of Moon it, or Karma cut it, or whatever they feel like doing to this thing. So it's not exactly it's definitely a game-ending card if you can get it on the field and it's completely safe, but that's probably all it's going to be. It's not like it's actually that scary of a card in general. It's not like it just summons onto the field and your opponent can't do anything about it. It just, that's feel alright. Anyway. So that activates effect, so it can be used if you control blah 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 blah, that activates effect twice this duel. Set one Tachyon Transmigration from outside of your deck to your field. This skill can only be used once per duel. Begin a duel with a deck that contains no monsters other than Dragon type monsters, and an extra deck that contains only Dragon type Xyz monsters. Alright, now this trap card is pretty sick. If you control a Galaxy Eyes monster, negate the activations of your opponent's spelling trap cards and monster effects activated before this card in chain. So your opponent will activate something, you might change something to it, they might change something yet again. You can activate this thing, negate all that shit that they just activated. So pretty insane. And if you do, shuffle the negated cards on the field into the deck. So not only does it negate them, it also puts them back in the deck. So your opponent uses an annoying monster effect, that monster goes back in the deck as well. Alright, if you control Galaxy Eyes Tachyon monster, you can activate this card from your hand. So pretty insane, considering I think it gives it to you from outside the deck, but it does require you to have actually used these cards' effects twice during this duel, and considering this one's a battle phase effect, and this one is probably being ranked up off of this one, or however you get this thing on the field, I don't see this being the main skill for the deck, especially considering there's one coming up that can give you this card anyway, spoiler alert. Alright, Mizar skill 3. Can be used if you control exactly 2 Dragon-type light monsters on your field. Their levels become 8 until the end of this turn. For the rest of this turn, you cannot spell summon monsters except rank 8 or 9 light Dragon-type Xyz monsters. This skill can only be used once per duel if you in a duel with a deck that contains no monsters other than Dragon-type monsters and an extra deck that contains blah 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 blah. Alright, so don't think we care too much about this. At the current state of the game, these like level adjusting skills just don't really see any play in any other sort of character or outside of, I guess, the current Constellar deck. And we don't really, so we're probably not going to need this for Galaxy Eyes anyway. The deck is designed around getting out the numbers you need anyway, the levels and to go as your ranks or whatever. You don't really need this sort of level adjusting stuff. It's cool, but there's probably going to be better skills that are better than this. You don't need to level adjust in a deck list that was already playing all the levels you need anyway, so I'm not going to be using this most likely. Mizar skill 4. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn and only twice per duel. Reveal one level 8 monster in your hand to add one level 4 or level 8 light monster from your deck to your hand and set one level 8 monster from your hand to your field. Return one face-up monster on your field to your hand to add one Tachyon Transmigration, that's the card we just talked about earlier, from your deck, or one rank up magic blah 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 from outside of your deck to your hand. So this also confirms, by the way, we're getting this card as an actual card, not just given to us via the outside the deck from the skill. We can actually get this card. Alright, this skill can be used if you win the duel with a main deck that contains monsters that are either level 1, level 8, and level 4, blah 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 blah. You can read that for yourself. Alright, now this skill seems really good, because it's going to be a reveal 1/8 monster to then add any level 4 level 8 monster from your deck to your hand, and set one level 8 monster from your hand to your field. Now, I'm not sure if we can, if this is like the Red Eye skill, where you can flip the set monster face up afterwards, or not. It's kind of... I'm not really sure if that's the case. If that's the case, it's probably going to be a lot better, but... Especially considering this thing allows you to return a face-up monster to search for the card. So if it does work that way, you can set the monster to flip it face up the same way the Red Eye skill works. You can then search for the trap card whenever you want it. So it's just a search, and a search for the trap card as well. So a pretty insane skill, but it's even more insane considering we're not even done. There's still one more skill coming up, which is just insane for Galaxy Eyes. I think this one is. So this skill does look really promising though. Searching for the trap card and searching for any monster of your deck list is pretty crazy, but let's go on to the final skill. And this one is for Kite, not even for Mizar. You can use each of the following effects once per duel and max one effect per turn. Alright, so one effect per turn is a little bit of a downside. I don't think this one had that on it. Yeah, you can use both of them in the same turn. Reveal one Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon, one Galaxy Knight in your hand to add two Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon or level 8 Galaxy Warrior type monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. Then you can send one card from your hand to the graveyard. So that's already pretty insane, especially considering Galaxy Eyes, in previous iterations, they liked putting stuff in their graveyard because they could just revive it with their... I can't remember what the card it was exactly, but there was like Galaxy Eyes card you just used to revive it. I'm pretty sure there's even a Monster Reborn card they were using that could revive it. So they already liked putting things in the graveyard, and this thing searches for 2 Galaxy Eyes cards from your deck list, so what more can you ask for? Alright, send one Galaxy card from your hand to your graveyard to set one Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragon from your deck or graveyard to your field. You cannot flip summon it during this turn. This is very confusing, because it says you cannot flip summon it. Then why do we want it on the field? Like, I don't really understand why we'd want just a monster on the field face down. I don't really get it. They can use it for like tribute summoning or something, but I don't think this deck list tries to tribute summon. Maybe I'm missing something about this. Maybe someone that's more smarter with the Galaxy Eyes deck list could tell me down below why you'd want to set Galaxy Eyes card on the field for some reason. I don't really understand. But that does give me hope that this one could be, you can flip this one face up though, considering this one says you cannot flip it, and this one doesn't have that clause written there, so I'm assuming maybe this one can be flipped face up. Who knows? Either way, both these skills seem pretty good. This one's literally just a search for 2, discard 1, pretty crazy, which considering you like reviving. And this one could search for your negate, and it can search for just any level 4, level 8. So, God knows which one of these skills is going to be the more played. I'm just glad to see there's at least multiple skills that are going to be worth trying out. One for Kite and one for Mizar. So maybe I'll do 2 Galaxy Eyes videos. Maybe, we'll see. Alright, on to the Shiranui skill. Now this one, I'm telling you right now, if we get all the support that I think we're going to be getting for this deck, this is guaranteed top tier. And I mean like real top tier. Not one of those like sneakily just sneaking into tier 3 sort of high rogue sort of decks. No, this will be a top tier deck if we get all the support that I think we're going to be getting for it. So we'll talk about those cards in a second once we've gone through the skill. So at the beginning of the duel, place one Shiranui Spectral Sword to your graveyard. So this is assuming we can actually use this thing's banish from the graveyard to synchro summon on this turn that you're putting it in there. We assume you can do that, because it'd be kind of weird if we're just putting it in there and you can't use it. We assume you're going to be able to do it on the turn it's been put in there, despite what the actual, despite what the card says. We assume the skill's just going to sort of place it in there and we can use it. During this duel, you cannot special summon monsters with a level except fire zombie type monsters. Keep that in mind. This means IDP is not usable in this deck list unless you want to have a very specific target for it. You can use each of the following effects once per duel. Send one level 4 monster in your hand to the deck, to the graveyard to add one Shiranui card in your deck to your hand. So Shiranui loves having cards in the graveyard, so already this isn't really much of a downside. If anything, it's just going to be like upside sometimes, just giving you an extra card to use alongside your Spectral Sword to do extra revives or whatever not. and it just searches for a Shiranui card, which is fantastic in its own right. Alright, return all synchro monsters at least 2, and all link monsters that are either banished or in your graveyard to your extra deck. Then you must banish 2 fire zombie type monsters from your extra deck with different levels. Now the reason for this is, we're probably getting the link. This is hinting at getting the link. And if we get the link, which we'll go through right now, because might as well, it's pretty, it makes that last effect seem pretty insane. Shiranui. Alright, where is it? This thing. So this thing takes 2 zombie type monsters. Synchro monster you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Fire monster you control cannot be destroyed by battle. So this means your synchro stuff can't be destroyed by battle or via card effect. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can target one of your banished zombie synchro monsters, special summon it to your zone this card points to. Assuming this is exactly the same way the Mayakashi skill works, where just putting some stuff via your skill to the extra deck still allows you to special summon it to the field, even though it wasn't properly summoned. If it works the same way the Mayakashi skill works, but you can do that, the skill is going to put a Sun Saga in the banished zone, to then be summoned off of this thing, which is kind of crazy, because Sun Saga, for you guys that don't remember what this card does, wherever it is, if this card is special summoned, you return any number of your zombie synchro monsters that are banished or in your graveyard to the extra deck, then destroy cards your opponent controls equals the number of cards returned. So skill just puts this thing straight up into your banished zone alongside another Shiranui. Activate this thing, revive it, you just nuke your opponent's field for only 1 card, but it's non-target destruction, which feels pretty goddamn good. And this can be summoned obviously very easily off just a 1-card combo. You just summon your dude over here, or so you can do it off of Solitaire and you can do it off of your Squire. Both of them are 1-card combos, which also makes the first part of the skill seem really weird, because normally these skills are added to like boost consistency of a deck list, but this deck list can already do everything you're going to want it to do with just these 2 pieces alone. Meaning your last search, or your actual skill search, could be for something like a potential trap card if we get it. Which means if we get given this card, Shiranui style Swallow Slash, not blocking, am I not? Tribute 1 zombie type monster and target 2 cards on the field, destroy them, then banish 1 Shiranui monster from your deck. If we get this thing, and we've got the consistency this deck list already has, we got 3 Squire, 3 Solitaire, both of which is going to lead to a 1-card combo ending on at least your Link summon plus God knows whatever else, all the synchro stuff and the what's his face in the graveyard. If we can search for that trap card as well, holy shit, that's 1-card combo, 2 disruption because of your skill. So you could have 3 back row, disruption set up, and follow up for the next turn, all in just 1 combo. And of course, we can also search for your Ghost Meets Girl, a Shiranui story, which is a great way to play through disruption, as if your opponent controls a monster, so let's say you're going second, you can discard 1 zombie monster, special summon a Shiranui monster with a different name from your deck or graveyard, or you can special monsters except zombie monsters for the rest of the turn. So essentially, going second, you summon out something like summon out your Solitaire, your opponent goes, nope, you're not using that, disrupts it in some way, then you can just use this thing to grab a hold of like one of your Solitaires, or this thing that can't be used, its fate doesn't work on normal summon, right? Yeah, so it just had to go another different play, but anyway, this thing helps you play through disruption, and yeah, this is how a lot of the older Shiranui variants ended up playing, and the skill lets you search for it, so you can just play 1 copy of it, so it doesn't really hinder your going first plays, because you won't see it all that often, except when you're searching it via the skill, and makes going second a hell of a lot better, so I think this will be a very top tier skill if we get given the Link monster, and we get given the trap card. If we just get the Link monster, it'll be a pretty good deck list, but the trap card as well, holy shit, this deck will be good. So, if you haven't gone into the Shiranui Mayakashi builder box, whatever the hell it's called currently, you might want to consider doing that, as that's going to be a very strong deck. Alright. Now we have 2 more skills. Well, technically 4, but these last ones are really weird. We'll talk about them, I guess. First one is Dark Magician Blue Eyes. This skill is a bit more interesting. I don't know how good this skill will be. It's kind of similar to the previous Dark Magician skill we got in a way. During this duel, you can normal summon Chronicle Magician and normal monsters with 2500 attack or 2500 defense without tributing, and you cannot special summon effect monsters with a level except Light Dragon type monsters or Dark Light Spellcaster type monsters. So this skill is meant to be used with Dark Magician or Blue Eyes. I don't really think you want to play them together, but I guess you could in theory. I think it's probably going to be more of a Dark Magician skill, if anything. I think the current Blue Eye skill is probably better than this one in terms of Blue Eyes, I think. I'm not super sure on that, but I think this is definitely good for Dark Magician. Alright, so first card that's basically guaranteed to be getting is the Chronicle Magician. If a monster with 2500 original attack and defense or is special summoned to your field except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. If this card is special summoned, you can target one Dark Magician or Blue Eyes White Dragon you control against 2500 attack until the end of this turn. So just free special summon that can be used for going into different ranks, going to your rank 7s or whatever else. And of course, you could just use it to make your Dark Magician have 5000 attack for potential just lethal damage. Especially considering this thing is 2500 as well. That's 2500 attack plus 5000. It's going to be pretty hard to survive that, so it's alright. It's alright. Not sure how good this card's going to be, but considering you can make rank 7s out of it, it'll probably be alright. Alright. The following effect can be used once per turn if you normal or fusion summon a level 7 or higher monster or normal summon a Chronicle Sorceress. Alright, you can activate one of these effects based on the attributes in your graveyard. Light, send one Blue Eyes White Dragon or one card that mentions it from your deck to the graveyard. Dark, send one Dark Magician or one card that mentions it from your deck to your graveyard. So I don't know what there's not that many it's kind of weird looking at this card because the targets for this thing are super odd because it sends specifically one Blue Eyes White Dragon or one card that mentions it, and I'm pretty sure White Stone doesn't actually, I think I read this in the Discord earlier. White Stone mentions Blue Eyes monsters. So your Sorceress can't actually send stone to the graveyard because it doesn't specifically mention Blue Eyes White Dragon. So I don't know what the targets are for this thing. The one that sort of comes to mind for Dark Magician specifically is Navigation. You could put Navigation in the graveyard. And if you put Navigation in the graveyard, obviously that means on the following turn, if your opponent tries to use any kind of effect, you'll have a spell and trap negate already set up if you can get a Dark Magician on the field, which is pretty cool. Considering Navigation normally can't work on the turn you send it. So you send it turn 1, you have a Navigation set, you can use Navigation, revive your dudes, then your one in the graveyard can be used to negate stuff as well. I don't know, I know what other targets you can do with this. I guess you can just put Dark Magicians in graveyard for your whatever it's called. For your Eternal Soul, I guess. I'm not really sure what the targets are for this card. But anyway, let's go on with the skill. So if you normal fusion summon a monster or summon this thing, you can add one Successor Soul or one Quick Play spell that mentions Dark Magician or Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to your hand. So this is pretty cool because obviously there's a couple of targets for... There's not that many targets of Blue Eyes, so I didn't bother going through them. But for Dark Magician, we have got a couple of interesting targets. You've got your Illusion Magic, which can search for Dark Magicians if you need it. You've got your Secrets for obviously Fusion Summoning or Ritual Summoning. We've got your Dark Magic Expanded, which can be pretty sick, especially considering you're dumping stuff to the graveyard. Considering this thing, it basically makes it so that your Dark Spellcaster monsters gain 1000 attack if you have one Dark Magician in your graveyard. If you have 2 in the graveyard or 1 on the field, you can make it so that your opponent can activate cards or effects in response to your spell and trap cards, and 3 Dark Spellcaster monsters you control are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of this turn. So you just make all your stuff immune to your opponent's shit as a quick play effect if you can get enough sort of resources there. Not sure if this will be played with the skill, but certainly Secrets is an option, and of course the new card is an option, your Successor Soul. Tribute one effect monster, then target one effect monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard, then special summon one level 7 or higher normal monster from your hand or deck. You activate once per turn. You can only attack with one monster during the turn you activate this card. So this thing is really insane in terms of, it's kind of similar to how the previous Dark Magician skill worked, in that you can just search for a guaranteed disruption, which is something that obviously boosts the shit out of the consistency of a deck list that currently just relies on like your Navigation Circle DM combo, which is a 3-card combo, completely inconsistent removal. Whereas this thing is just, hey, you've summoned a Dark Magician, you've summoned his Sorceress, you can just search for guaranteed removal and a guaranteed summon of a Dark Magician from your deck. So if you already have Circle on the field, there's your banish. No 3-card combo needed. You just needed a copy of Sorceress, summoned it, grabbed your spell, set your spell, you're good to go. That's basically that is a combo now, allowing you to obviously have way more room to play a bunch of tech cards or just play or even just have your standard combo set up ready to go, and this thing as well. It's pretty insane. That's 2 removals. This thing can then obviously remove 1 card. If you have Circle on the field, that's a 2nd card. Pretty crazy. Alright, then you must send 1 non-effect monster from your deck or extract to the graveyard that has a different name than the face-up monster you control and in your graveyard. This is kind of weird because it means you're probably going to have to play non-effect monsters in your extra deck, I think, because I don't really know how else you're going to be able to fit enough non-effect monsters in your deck that have different names to be able to use the skill. So I think you'd have to play a couple of, I don't know how many times you can even use this skill. I don't know, can you just use this skill every single turn? I guess you won't have enough copies of quick play spells to make it super useful over multiple turns, but yeah, you probably have to play some non-effect monster in the extra deck or something. That can make some pretty funny meme monsters in the extra deck, to be fair. So overall, I think, in my opinion, this skill is probably just going to be a better version of the current Dark Magician skill we have, where the current one just has all these annoying restrictions stopping you using the navigations and stuff to do your standard Dark Magician combo. It doesn't have any of those restrictions, and it just gives you the guaranteed removal that skill gives you. So it just seems like a much better version of the previous skill, meaning Dark Magician is going to be more than playable once this skill releases, I think. Blue Eyes, I don't really think I'm going to be using the skill, at least. I doubt you're going to be playing the 2 of them together, unless there's some insane Blue Eyes support that I don't know about that could be coming that makes it all playable, but anyway, let's move on. Playmaker skill. You can use each of the following effects once per turn. Reveal 1 Cyberse Synchron in your hand, or add 1 level 3 or level 4 light Cyberse type monster with 800 defense or less from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Then you must send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. Set 1 Cyberse Synchron in your hand to your field. It cannot be flip summoned this turn. Then you can return up to 2 Cyberse type monsters that are banished or in your graveyard to your deck. Alright. These skills are really weird. I don't know why they have the cannot be flip summoned this turn. I am going to bold assumption. I think these are mistranslations. I'd be very surprised if they just have these, like, you cannot flip summon them this turn, which is, like, complete opposite of the Red Eye skill, which is, like, used to fix things. So, because normally they add the fact you can flip them to make it so that your opponent has a chance to respond to them, rather than being skills you can just activate, put something on the field, your opponent can't respond to that. Whereas if you put this thing face down, then you have to flip it, that gives your opponent a chance to respond. I don't know why they make it so that you just can't use it on the turn you set it. I don't know why they do that. So anyway, let's read this card. So Cyberse Synchron. Once per turn, you can target 1 level 4 or lower monster you control. Increase its level by its original level until the end of this turn. If your monster in the extra monster zone will be destroy a battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Alright. So I'm not really sure. I guess this thing's a tuner, right? So you can use it to make synchros in a Cyberse deck, which is kind of cool. Especially considering, Cyberse currently don't do any synchro summoning, so maybe there's some synchro Cyberse cards I don't know about. I'm not super versed on a Cyberse, to be honest, so let's have a quick look. Just out of curiosity. It can't be weird to get us this synchro stuff without actually having only Math Mech? Could we be getting some Math Mech cards, maybe? I don't know. We already have these in the game, though, right? We already have this one in the game. I doubt we're getting Final Scene, but maybe we are. Who knows? So I'm not really sure what the super point of this skill is, outside just being able to make synchros, which is kind of cool, but yeah, not sure what exactly the point of the skill is. It's probably good. I'm not super versed on Cyberse, so maybe this will be one for the comment section to let you guys know if it's a good skill or not. Alright, and finally we have 3 more skills. We have I think these are just generic skills. I'm not sure, take these ones with a grain of salt, because we have no idea what the hell is going on with them. Some of them are a little bit insane reading. So, some condition, return all cards in your hand and field and graveyard to the deck, draw 4 cards. If this thing is usable on your first turn, it 100% won't be, because it's the same as Restart, and Restart needed to be giga nerfed for a 20 card game. So the conditions for this skill are probably going to be insane, or it's some sort of event skill or something. There's no way this is actually pushed out into live. That'd be completely ridiculous. There's no shot it happens. Alright. Send all cards on your opponent's field to the graveyard. Afterwards, discard 1 card. Okay, just for 1 card discard, nuke your opponent's entire field. That's pretty crazy. I'm going to assume that's not how the skill is going to function. It's kind of weird that it's written this way, though, because I don't really know, like, what they can do to make this not seem completely insane. I assume this is, like, some event skill or something. And finally, once per turn, it can be activated by targeting one monster on your field. Until the end phase, the monster's level increases by 1, and its attack increases by 500. This could probably be an actual skill they give us. Like I said earlier in one of the other skills, level adjusting skills kind of fell off the face of the earth. They're not really something that's super played currently, so this could see play or use in some niche case somewhere, so I could see this being added, especially considering they seem to be on the a bit of a crusade with adding just random ass one-off skills like the level 5 reload skill or that MST skill or just any of the archive skills really, so maybe we could get this one, I don't know. And the final ones are event skills, so we won't go through them. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know down below your thoughts on these skills, especially like the Cyberse skill, because I have no idea about this deck. So maybe there's some sort of a synchro plays to be going into with this deck that I'm not super sure about. And yeah, let me know your thoughts on Dark Magician, Blue Eyes, the new Kite skills with 2 lots of Galaxy Eyes potentially being playable. This Shiranui skill, if we get the support I think we're getting for this, holy, it's going to be insane. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. Even if you want to check out some of the Rush cards as well, feel free to let me know. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in the next one. Remember to subscribe, and yeah, laters.